Hi, today we're going to play. We're going to assemble my tavern in real time while I talk about some of the pieces that I built just for my tavern. And in doing so and talking about those pieces, you might get an idea about how you could improvise your own pieces. So we're going to start with the first level of the tavern. And as some of you have noticed, this is loosely based on the Blue Water Inn from Curse of Strahd with some changes on my part and some additions. But your tavern could be anything you want. I just happened to build this one because I thought it was an extreme case of a tavern. It was very, very large. It gave me a reason to build a very large set of Terraino. So we're going to go through that today, and I'm going to show you some techniques that I use to build Terraino in a fast, efficient manner. That being said, I might mess up because I am doing this from memory, so we'll see how it goes. All right, well, I'm going to start with the front door. And a lot of times what I'll do is I won't connect most of the stuff. I'll just sort of lay out the pieces where they go, because in this way I can make sure that the layout is what I wanted. It's easier enough to connect everything later. Oh, I don't want that over there. I want these here. It's easy enough to connect everything later once you sort of have your layout fleshed out. As you can see, these are some new pieces that are not in the manual. This is actually the single-spaced wall, the single square wall from the Torino Basics manual. And basically all I did was I took and constructed the three pieces, the interior tongue piece, the two exterior pieces, and then what I did was I cut out the tongue piece in the middle here to make room for a little bit of that cross-stitching material that we use for the windows. So it's a little bit of a hybrid of these two pieces, and it's very easy for you to do as well. Again, this is one of those improvised pieces that I thought was kind of cool. I kind of made on the fly. That's the fun thing about Terraino. If you base your improvised pieces on an existing piece, you know it'll always fit with everything. So yeah, I always really like to kind of flesh things out like this. I kind of know how this is going to go. I think we need a side door here. Let's use this door. Okay, need this over here. I guess we do need that there, don't we? There we go. And I think I have a solid wall here. Now, you'll notice in all these pieces here, except for this one, they all have this brick accent on the bottom. And I do that on the first floor of my buildings because that sort of, to me, makes sense. You would have brick towards the ground, so the brick is a barrier between moisture in the ground and the wood. And I like that kind of accent. So what I'll use mostly is brick bottom pieces on the ground floor of my buildings, and I'll use wood bottom pieces on other places. I think I want the blue going inward. Yeah, let's do that. I want this here. Yeah, let's put that there. And we'll keep that blue theme going all the way around. Alright, so that's our main room, if I remember correctly. Yep, and then we have a bar here. By the way, this bar is a piece that I show you how to make in the Terraino Tech tutorial number 3, I think. It's a lot of fun, it's pretty easy to make, and it adds a lot to the space. All these textures are also included in the Terraino Tech manual, so it's really easy and fast to make this. And excuse my voice, I have a cold that I've been fighting for a while. But I really wanted to do this video because it's just, and honestly, it's just kind of fun to sit and build some Terraino now and then. Let's put this here. Oh, you know what, I put that the wrong way. Let's go like that. What else are we gonna do? Oh yeah, we need a room door into the kitchen from the storage area. And then we need a side door. And now we need to put some windows in there, if I remember correctly. Yeah, just like that, and like that. Hey, this is coming together. And back here. So you can see right now, it's very easy to sort of lay out the general outline of my building. And I really haven't committed a whole lot of time to doing it. I'm just kind of laying it out and seeing how that looks. And if I like it, then I'll sort of make it permanent by connecting all the pieces together. Put that there. I know I need a door from the bar into the house there. Then, oh yeah, then we need the stalls for the horses. Just like that. Like that. That's starting to look like something, isn't it? Okay, we'll put this guy here. We need some little wall action there. Alright. Huh. Now, I'm left with this. Oh, that's why. Because this should be over here. And this should be there. That's what it is. Cool. Alright, and then we have our outside area. And that, oh, and I got to repair my first major piece of Terraino yesterday. My cat decided it was a good idea to knock a box over on top of my tavern. And this was the major casualty of it. It actually broke into 3 pieces. It still looks a little bit wonky, but I managed to hot glue it back together. And I can make it look better than this too. I repainted and get rid of some of these hairs from the hot glue. But it was nice to see that I was able to fix it. So that was kind of nice. Yeah, so. And now keep using it. Now I have had like some connectors and stuff chip off pieces here and there, but it hasn't really been that big a deal. So this was actually the first kind of big test for me of, well, the durability, not so much the durability of it, but more the ability to sort of fix it after the fact. Because I have several cats and they will probably do that again. And then we need the hallway that divides the back bar area. And then we have our little secret room here with the ladder upstairs. Yeah, that looks like everything. Okay, so now that we have everything fleshed out with the walls, now we just got to connect everything. And you'll notice here on these are a corner connector. This is a socketed corner connector. I will be showing you a video on how to make these shortly, but the templates are already in the Torino tech manual. These are really great. I use these a whole lot. They're a great accent on a corner. They're relatively easy to make. They're a little bit more intricate than the straight version of these. Let's see if I can find one of those. Here we go. Because you do have this kind of angle piece to it, and you want to make sure that the hole that takes the socket on the front here lines up with the hole back here. So that's the one challenge of all this that you just got to keep an eye on. But we'll go over that in the video as well. But the templates are in the Torino tech manual and at GameGearMaster.com. So check that out as well. Now you do want to be very careful with these when you're putting them in. You don't want to push these down in between 2 pieces of Torino. You can see that I did that on this one. You see how it's bent, and that's because I did that. You don't want to do that. You always want to take that out and then feed that piece into the side, so you don't bend those connectors there. So now obviously I made a very, very large tavern here. You don't necessarily have to do that. But the cool thing about this is when I took this apart, I was actually able to, with the addition of some pieces, like some extra rooms and stuff, I was able to build out an entire town, which was kind of cool. Which is why I actually have renamed the Tavern Manual to the Terraino Taverns and Towns Manual, because, you know, that manual has become much more of a use case for, actually let's turn the light on the inside here so we can light up this interior area here. It's actually become much more useful for not just taverns, but for, you know, any kind of structure that has a roof, which basically means anything that you'd find in a town or a village. So I thought that made a lot more sense. I should probably put lights here, but let's just see. I might change that out afterwards. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do with that. I'll put that there, and then we're gonna go like this. Oh yeah, see, I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that I connect that into there, just like that. All right. And then we need a little T-piece in there. This. See, these are the earliest ones I made. These are, oh, hello, gotta move that back on. These are the earliest versions of these that I've made. And you see I was actually very worried about spending a lot of money on the paint, so I didn't paint the bottom half, which is sort of silly because this stuff doesn't cost a lot at all. But yeah, I'm a generally a pretty frugal person, but I would not recommend doing this in your set. I would recommend painting them all the way down. Okay, we need a light in front of that door. Let's see, what do we have? Do we have any other ones? That might be good for that. Yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah, why not? I'll put this one there. Just like that. Gonna have a whole bunch of lights in here. So again, I'm taking these out and attaching the delicate parts first. Like that. And then I can just slide in the other bits. Like that. And then we need an exterior corner here. And then we need some lights by the front door. So now, I was saying before, sometimes like I have tabs that'll break on the inside here. These are pretty easy to fix. You just basically hot glue them again, and they are pretty good. I'm not going to do that now because I'm in the interest of time. But it does happen every now and then, but it's kind of interesting. Like, you can kind of hot glue these things back together and they'll just sort of work. And if you're concerned about strength, after you hot glue that piece back on, give it a little bit of a coating in PVA glue, and then you'll be good to go. Let's see, we'll put this one over here. It is very forgiving in that way, you know. And also, I mean, let's face it, they're made out of foam, right? And they're relatively easy to make. So if you get in a situation where it's completely beyond repair, I mean, it's not the end of the world to have to pull a new one. Okay, that going there. I think I want another corner piece in there. Oh, we can put this here. Like that. An exterior corner here. No, let's go like this. Why we don't break it. There we go. And another corner. Like that. And then we need a T in here. This, and I want to make sure I don't, normally I would turn this around, but for the camera I'm not going to move much of anything, so it's a little awkward to do this way, but whatever. There we go. And we put this here, get a little light by this archway so servers can see where they're going. Alright, that's getting there. We're going to need a T-connector in here to hold all this together. That. Oh, that's a cross connector rather. And then we're gonna need some T connectors here. And this is a piece that I kind of made. This is a simple T connector, but I added this little brick bottom here onto it because that'll fit the brick bottom that I have as a theme all the way around the first floor here. Put one over here. We need some corners on here. Oh yeah, let me do these. These are actually from the basics set. These are one of the earliest ones that I've made for Torino. But yeah, these are from the basics set. They're just the detailed corner connectors. I use them all over the place. And it's nice. I mean, that's the thing with Torino. You know, you build a set today, you build pieces today, and they'll work with pieces you build tomorrow. And that's sort of the basic concept. It's not a new concept, but I feel like it's a new one. It's a newish one for crafted tabletop terrain. So yeah, you're always leveraging your hard-earned downtime and hobby time because you're building stuff and you're getting to use it multiple times, and it's fun, it's creative, and it allows you to, let's make sure this is fitting a little better here. It allows you to, you know, build for what you could think of today, and also have something to flesh out your ideas that you haven't even had yet. And that's what I find a lot of fun. I find it a lot of fun to sit down with my Torino set and just sort of build stuff and see what happens, and that'll generate ideas for me for what I want to do for campaigns and for what I want to do at the table. It's just fun. I also sort of really enjoy because I have to, you know, because I'm doing this as a channel as well. I spend a lot of time photographing my Torino set, and I must say that is a that's a kind of a neat, that's a fun thing for me to do. but it also really, in doing that, I build a lot of different things with Terraino, and I have come to the realization that it really has a lot of great uses. In fact, my new friend in Australia, he is going to use it for as an occupational therapy tool. He has now forgive me if I'm wrong on this because I don't know exactly, but I got the impression that he works with folks with special needs, and he's going to use this as part of his games as therapy workshop, which I thought was very, very cool. And I'm super, super excited to see what he does with it. He's a super nice guy. I will leave links to what he's doing in the details below. If you guys are at all interested, obviously he would, all the support that community can get, the better. But yeah, for me personally, it was incredibly heartwarming to see somebody who took this idea and actually did something that had such great benefit for the community. All right, got there. A little bit. Okay. So I'll have to fix this, obviously. Not a big deal, a little bit of hot glue and that'll be fixed. But anyway, so here's our first floor. Our first floor is done. Oh, we need some stairs. Oh my goodness, of course we do. Let's put that there. This here. This stairs also kind of double as a stage, because I like to have a place where bards can jam out a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside and we'll go on to the next level. So this is going to be the barn area in the back of the building. It's going to sit on top of here. This is where they would store the hay for the horses. And this is going to be our first little foray into the roof sections from the Torino Taverns and Towns manual. These were a lot of fun to design, a little tough, but very rewarding once I kind of figured out how to do it. But they are definitely, they are definitely the most unique pieces in the Torino Taverns and Towns manual, and they come in really handy. Like they're modular, so you can make roofs of different sizes, different configurations. Yeah, I'm super happy with how they came out, and I think they're very, very useful above all else. So, all right. So first, we're going to build the support structure for our roofs, which is going to be the rafter pieces. These guys. And so we're going to put on these guys on the outside here. You'll notice they have this little lip on them so they can actually overhang floor tiles that have a solid edge. Just like that. And we're going to put this on the back here. I put this little hallway in here so that way if I wanted to put it in play I could. You don't necessarily have to. This could all just be sort of decorative. Like that. And then we're going to do our roof pieces. That's going to be these guys. And these are just foam and with some masking tape and some paint on top of the shingles. There's videos on this. There's the roofs and rafters video, and there's the roof peaks videos that show you how to make all this stuff. And all the templates are in the Torino Taverns and Towns manual. And yeah, so it's super fun to make and super fun to use. So yeah, check it out. Okay, let's see, how's that look? Pretty good. And this foam is flexible. It acts this connection point here with the foam, because the foam is springy and wants to sort of go back straight. When you stick it in here, it becomes a very good solid connection. And that's sort of the basis for how these roofs and rafters sections work. Let's take this out, make it easy. There we go. And slide it back on there. Okay, so there's the first level of it. And we're going to make our little support structure for the top. These are just, oh, these are also just single-spaced walls from the Torino Basics Manual. They don't look particularly great, but yeah, this is my first shot at them. I just drew a design on there with crossing timbers. Other than that, they're the exact same single-spaced walls from the Torino Basics Manual. Okay, and we're going to build these the same way. Now the way I refer to these is, this is, for instance, this is a 1x1 rafter, and what that means is it's 1 square wide, and it's 1 floor high, right? So this is a 2x1. It's 2 squares wide and 1 floor height high. And you'll see that a lot. It's just a good shorthand for things, for the roof pieces that I use pretty often. Yeah, so this one is one of my early beta versions. I can see it. And on some of those, I didn't leave enough room in here, so they only kind of fit well on one side. This was solved by the time I got out to you guys, but for my set, I have to kind of be cognizant of that, or conscious of it when I'm putting it together. But yeah, there's a lot of early beta pieces in my set that are not actually going to be pieces that you would be able to manufacture incorrectly from your set because I changed the templates. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Just like that. Perfect. And also another little byproduct. In my early beta versions, I didn't actually connect these two pieces. I just left them separate. And then I was like, well, it probably makes more sense to connect them. But for my own personal pieces, I just put them together with masking tape because I didn't really care. But yeah, in the Roof Peaks tutorial, I show you a much, much better way to connect these. And these just kind of connect together like that. And like this. Boom. All right. And then we got the roof for our barn. Let's make sure that clicks in there. Sticks all together. Good to go. So we'll put that here. And on to the next piece. Okay. So then it's time to build the first half of the second floor. This is the part that has the balcony that looks down on the main tavern area in the inn. So I'm just going to organize my pieces a little bit here. And I always try to keep my connectors all together. Put them over here. Now, obviously, when you're building stuff, you'll probably have everything in a big giant pile, but in the interest of time, I figured I would at least try to organize the pieces so you can see the actual building of the tavern and have a lot less time to be rummaging around looking for stuff. And that is part of the fun or part of the frustration of Terraino, kind of like Lego. You know, you spend a lot of time looking for that one piece you need. There's not really a whole lot you can kind of do to avoid that. It just is, it's kind of part of the experience, you know. Either embrace it or fight it, but it is what it is. But I have found that a little bit of organization of your pieces helps. A lot of times what I'll do is I will organize my pieces into different bits. Like I'll have all of my connectors in one box or bowl or bag. And I'll have all of my straight pieces, all my wall pieces in another one. And then I'll have all my special pieces like windows and doors in another one. So I'll sort of segregate them into smaller piles that I can then, you know, use to make it a little easier to find all the pieces that I'm looking for. Is this right? I feel like it's not right. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Oh, yeah, this has to be here. We have a door. Oh, by the way, these doors, they're also really kind of a fast down and dirty single-spaced door. I want to find a better solution to this. It's just when you get down to a single-spaced wall like this, a 5-foot wide wall, you just don't have a lot of surface area to work on. So this was my solution to that. It's not great. I'm not happy with it right now, which is why I haven't really kind of focused on it. But I wanted to show it to you in this video to see that, show you that you can make a single 5-foot wide door. If somebody else has a better way of doing this, I'd love to see it. I think it's one of those things that once somebody finds a good solution to, will become the standard. And now we have to make sure we have that back staircase. That's right here. Now there is a quote-unquote staircase or ladder area back here. I don't bother actually cutting a hole in the floor tile to show that, because I think that's a little bit too specialized. And I mean, I will probably make something eventually that'll sort of denote where there is a staircase, some kind of thing that I can put in there that'll be staircase-like. But for now, I'm not going to do that. It just makes this ground tile more versatile later. Oh, here's another piece that I made. This is a socketed T connector, and it's got a narrower front detail area, the pillar here in the front. I narrowed it up because I wanted to make it look more like a wood beam, which was not that difficult to do. So this is basically just a detail connector, the face for a detail connector that I cut down narrower. So yeah, there's a lot of ways you can kind of make all these pieces your own, and that was one of the ones that I wanted to do. I wanted to make a detail connector that didn't have this giant front to it. I wanted to sort of have a variation on that looked a little bit more elegant, a little less imposing. So yeah, so I came up with this kind of beam idea. I also made corner connectors like that. I made some that had the, instead of having the full face, I don't have a corner connector here, but instead of having the full face of the detailed corner connector, I made it narrower, so it actually looks like one beam sticking out and connecting the two pieces of the, oh, I'm putting this in the wrong place, of the two pieces of the wall. Okay, I like to kind of connect these ahead of time because they can be a little bit delicate. There we go. Like that. And let's go ahead and put that one on there too. Like that, like this. We'll need some of these simple straight connectors. And these are also simple corner connectors that I just kind of gave a little bit of a wood grain finish to. These are right out of the basics manual. Come in handy, 1,000,001 uses. There. Now this T connector, I'm going to put on the end here because this piece will connect to the other piece of the second floor. So I want that to be seamless when it's put together. So it will actually connect right into this piece here when they're butted up against each other. And I'll do the same thing over here. Just like that. And some more corner connectors. And we'll put a little light here. Like that. Oh yeah, here you can see that single beam that I was talking about. So this is actually a detail connector that I just narrowed up the outside face on. You'll also notice that sometimes I will, I'll butt up two pieces to each other. And I do that because I can kind of get away with it. So you can see here, like I butted up these two pieces with each other. They're not connected to anything, but they'll still butt up and make a nice smooth wall there. Now you will have this issue where it'll kind of be a little loose. Sometimes on cards I find another piece that fits a little bit better. But most of the time it's not a problem by the time you get the corner connector on here to hold it in place. Like this, and also it's going to connect to another piece once the entire upstairs is built, so it should be all right. Just like that. And one here, and one here. Oh, I have a T connector somewhere that I don't want to have. Oh, yeah, this is the one. Yeah, this should be here. Like that. And like this. All right, got our second floor, first bit. We'll add that to here. And then we have the second half of the second floor, and this is the front half. This is where a lot of the guest rooms are. And this is also the second half of the balcony area. Now, if I was going to do this again, knowing what I know about Torino now, I don't think I would have had any kind of balcony area here because in a practical sense for play, it makes it more complicated. Like I would never want to run a balcony that wraps around the entire area of a play area. So what I would probably do is have this be an enclosed hallway so it's out of play. But I'm going to build it with the balcony now just because that's how I've been doing it. But in the future, I'm probably going to extend out the rooms and have them not be have it not be a balcony. And the same kind of idea. I'm just sort of laying out all my pieces. Trying to see what I got here. Let's put a door there. Yeah, it's coming together. Okay, we need a wall there. We need some walls down the side. And a divider here. And what else we got? There we go. Let's put that there, and then we'll put this here. All right, so we got our guest rooms. We got oh, we need a door there, don't we, for the side up? All right, cool. Now, oh, I can show you one of the other pieces that I made. This is a detailed corner connector. It's got that face on the outside, you can see. But I cut it narrower, so when I put it on the building, it'll just look like a beam, a corner beam. And I really like how that looked, so I put that on here, like this. And yeah, it just looks more like a beam as opposed to, you know, I obviously have painted the inside a little bit better, but it looks more like a beam as opposed to like this big kind of honking thing on the outside. So something to consider for your own set. Let's see here. Might be a little tough to do unless I turn it around, but let's see if I can get away with it. Hey, look at that, it works. Okay, cool. Nice. I think we need a light by the side door here. And again, I'm going to be kind of careful of these tabs on the outside here. So let's put that in first. And then slide it in. See what I'm doing? There we go. Okay, is that seated properly? I can't tell. Nope. Let's see. Just want to make sure it's in the groove there. Oh, calamity. Everything's destroyed. Yeah, so somebody's got to fiddle with it a little bit and that'll kind of get into place. There we go. So all pieces are handmade. Some will fit tighter than others, and usually if that happens, if it gets to be a problem, I'll just sort of readjust them, like trim off a little bit here and there. But the other thing is to just sort of kind of mess with it until they all kind of fit together the way they should. Yeah, let's put this. Actually, let's do this. This guy here. I also made some simple connectors that were sort of wood, looked like wood. I thought that would be nice for the exterior. Kind of mix it up a little bit, make the upstairs areas more, you know, wood dominated as opposed to the whole stucco idea. Okay, put this guy in here. This guy here. Oh, actually, you know what? I think I gotta do this. Where do I want to put him? Actually, let's put him in here. That won't be a light in here. That's pretty good. Put this here. Oops. Another little wood piece. And put this guy here. Alright, cool. So now I'm just gonna make sure everything's sort of the way I want it. And then we will take and connect this to the back half. And that's just a matter of putting it onto the model, lining up the connectors, and pushing it into place. There we go. And last but not least is the biggest piece, well, next to the floor. This is the roof area with the hidden temple. Yeah, this is a big piece, lots of parts, kind of cool. I'm going to start kind of moving my stuff out here so I can see what I have. And I wanted to talk to about two pieces that are different than any other Terraino pieces that I've made. And I made them specifically for this tavern because I wanted some large support structure. So basically they were pretty simple. I kind of improvised them on the fly. You see there's 3 different ones. And they're all basically twice the height of normal walls. So they're 4 inches high, and that's because that way if I want to stack up roofs next to it, which in this case I do, you can stack 2 roofs on top of each other and they fit perfectly in the same height as these pieces. So I really like this size piece. I'm probably going to make more use of those in the next Terraino set, which is going to be Terraino Strongholds. It just makes a lot of sense. And this big window here, basically I use the same techniques that I used in all the other windows. I just use the interior ring of a masking tape roll to measure out this area here. All the side pieces, they are twice the width of regular pieces, and then I just sort of mimic the same style of them. So these were pretty much improvised on the fly, but they have the same kind of design accents, like the 3 beams on the top, bottom 3 beams on the top and bottom, the side beams, the nail holes all the way around. So yeah, you can see they all kind of match in theme with everything, but these were sort of riffed off of the existing Terraino Tavern pieces. Now, if there's a big demand for these, I will happily make templates for them. I just thought, there's such a unique use case that you may never want to build them. But if you do, just let me know and I'll throw some templates into the Torino Taverns and Towns manual. Anyway, let's get started on this guy. This is actually the coolest part, I think. And a lot of this is, when you're putting together Legos, this is the same thing. Like, you have to think about structure. You have to think about structural engineering. There's a lot of that in this one because you have a very large roof structure that you want to make sure stays together. And to make sure that happens, you have to build a support structure internally that is going to support that roof. And that's a large reason that I actually came up with this internal play area, because I thought it was a kind of a neat space that was being created by the roof itself. And I thought, hey, we should use that. Oh, and by the way, sometimes I get lazy and I don't even paint my cross connectors. And you pay the price when you don't do that because there is no PVA glue on there to strengthen them. So yeah, they break really easily. So I would recommend not being like me and taking the time to just, at the very least, coat them in some PVA glue. But hey, whatever. To each his own, right? And again, I'm going to separate these out to the different pieces. These gray pieces I'm going to use as support structure. These are from the basics set. These are some of the earliest pieces that I made. Some of them are also made with earlier techniques that I don't recommend, like leaving the paper on, the foam. And if I find one of those pieces as I'm going through this, I'll show you why. But it comes down to the fact that over time, after having used these now for a couple years, the paper starts peeling. So that's not a really ideal situation. Let's put these over here. These are all the different roof sections. And then we'll get the Rafter section out of here. We'll put them over here. We'll use that over here. And over there. Lots of pieces in this one. Okay, so let's start from... I'm going to turn this around because I need to be able to see what I'm building. Alright, well, I know... Let's think about this for a second. I think I know. Yeah, this starts out with these guys on the bottom. Just like this. And then we have a window on the front with some connection pieces. Like that. And then I think we have the corner of this. Yeah. And then we have a single in the middle, if I remember correctly. Normally I'd be looking at what I've built before, or I would, in the case of you guys, I would have pictures of my manual, but I'm trying to do this from memory. And that's when it gets interesting, because my memory is not what it used to be. Alright, that looks pretty good. And then we have the peak on top. Yeah. Alright, I think I kind of might have figured that one out. Cool. Okay, so I think I got that. Let's just build the back half of this. That's gonna be one of these. And some connectors that I don't care what look like. Let's use these actually. Yeah, I use the pieces that aren't in theme in places you probably won't see them. Because they won't matter that much. And then we need some pieces to connect together here. Like that. There we go. And the other one. Just like that. Perfect. And we need one of these back here because we won't see it. We'll use one of these connectors. What else do I have? Don't need that guy. Let's use this guy. This doesn't really matter because nobody will see it. And then we'll take this guy. Always making sure the shingles are going down. I mean, you can do the other way, but it would be a pretty inefficient roof if it ever rained. I'm just going to take this off and connect them. It'll make it easier. That, and slide it into place. Okay. Got the front half. Now we just got to make the roof peak. And here you can see this is also an earlier version. They weren't actually connected to each other, which kind of works, but they slide around a little bit if your connection point isn't secure and snug enough. So I would recommend doing the way that I do it in the roof peaks video instead. Okay, that. You can already see they're kind of coming out of there. And that's fixable by doing it the right way. Okay. And we're going to put up our support system here. I need another T in there. Where are the other T's? Where's that? There's a T. We got two T's here. So you'll notice also on these, what I just started doing is, since I have this border on here that is solid, I have been notching out the front of connectors so they will fit over those pieces. You see how that's gone there? That's a really easy solution to being able to put the piece all the way down into the groove, and they're just as usable. They just don't have that front notch, and that enables me to use these in more places. So I've actually started doing that on a lot of pieces. I kind of do it as I find them, but it is very, very useful for sure. That there. Connector. This here. Like that. Okay. Got that there. This is gonna go here. And then we do the same on the other side. I feel like I'm missing connectors. Oh, I'm not. This is gonna go, nope, not this. That there, that there, that there, that there. I want more T connectors, right? Yeah. I want to keep my nice T connector. Oh, you know what I think I did? I think I actually just used cross connectors in here, but maybe I didn't. Now I think about it, let me see. Actually, let's do this. Let's build out these walls, because that will tell me a lot about what I need where. Put that there. Put this here. Put this here. And we're going to need T connectors in there. That I know for a fact. And then we're going to put this guy in there as our other support structure. Like that. Put a T connector. And some more walls. And a lighter tube. Just like that. Just like that. Cool. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay. Okay, now we can do the second story of these. Perfect. Cool. Getting there. Starting to look like something now. Okay. This guy in here. That. And this goes here. And last but not least, that, and we put this on here. All right. We have our last little bit on the end here. T there, we have another T. I feel like there's some T stuff laying underneath other pieces here. There we go. Okay. So then we're going to mimic that fit over here. Like that. Somehow, I think I put everything here, but I didn't put enough connectors. I think I'm gonna have to go get some. But let me build as much as I can before then. Now, this is gonna go here. This is gonna go here. Just kind of laying everything out to make sure that I'm putting it together right. Again, I'm doing this from memory. This goes here. Okay. This is going to go here. Oh, I can put these T's there. There we go. That'll work. Right, because you won't see these anyway because they're behind the barn. Cool. Put this here. Getting somewhere. Yeah, and this is going to go back here. And back here. Oh, there you go. Nice. It's all coming together. Cool. Alright. Oh, maybe I use these. That's probably what I did. Yeah, I use straight connect. I use detail connectors. Right? That's what I did. Maybe I didn't. Oh, I think I used these. Yeah, I used them over there, maybe? No. Oh, I used them over here. Okay. That makes more sense. This goes there. Yeah, sometimes I'll use the detail connectors because they grab onto things well. So for roof pieces, it's always good to do that because the entire roof system is under tension because of the arced, the bent pieces of foam. So you're adding some stress, you're adding some energy to the entire structure. So having this really nice tight connection point here is super good and highly recommended. It just makes everything kind of hold together a lot better. And let me put this guy in here. Cool. All right, let's add some roof pieces here. Yep. Hi there, buddy. There you go. Nope, let's see this first. I like this. Sometimes it can be a little tricky when you have two pieces of flashing that overlap each other like this. They both kind of want to occupy the same space, but you sort of have to have one be kind of forgiving for the other one. There we go. And then like that. Cool. Starting to look like a roof. And we'll put this up here. And we need one connector on there. Okay. Put that here. Bingo. I'm messing up these. I really should tape these together at some point. Okay. It's starting to look like something. Here. This on here. And yeah, we're almost done. Huh, look at that. I guess we did have enough pieces. Okay. That. Cool. There. All right. Now we just gotta do these guys. This. It's like getting to the end of a puzzle. You know, you have only a few pieces left, so now it's less about figuring out where those puzzle pieces go and just more about putting them in there. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot the big picture window. That'll be helpful if I put that on there. It might actually be tough to put on now that I put everything together. Let's see. I have to be pretty careful when I do that. Okay. This here. There you go. You can do it. Actually, you know, let's do this. This is also one of the earlier pieces that I didn't leave enough of a gap in there. So, oh, you know, this is also one that I had to fix. You see how the hot glue's there? Yeah, I actually had to fix this one because this was before I started doing full strength glue on the bottom, and it actually tore. All the little things you learn along the way when you're trying to develop something. Okay. Perfect. So there. Actually, let's go like this. There we go. Always one piece that's going to give you a little trouble. Cool. Alright, there we go. And this I will definitely fix because it's bugging me now. Let's see if we can picture, but let's see if we can slide this in there without causing any major problems. And there we go. So far so good. Gotta be a little careful. Hey, done. Alright, nice. Then after this, we just have the one last little bit of roof, and then we're done. And it's just time to do the last little bit of the roof. This is all cosmetic. It's not a play space, but it just kind of finishes out the building. And you can see here on the side, it's missing a piece. This was the second casualty of my cat knocking a box over onto my tavern, and I could not find this piece. But hopefully this will illustrate that even if there's some bits that are broken, you can still use your Torino set, and it's really not a big issue. So let's just part out these things here. Okay, and a lot of this is just support structure. Oh, there's a chair squeaking in the middle, so I'm going to start with that. I think what I do, I can't remember now. How wide are these? Okay, so it goes to the end. Cool. So let's start with this. Now I want to put this in this spot here. And what happens is, yeah, there's not a lot of support there for this piece, but by the time you put the roof piece in and you put the connector in the middle of it, it's got a lot of support. And especially since I'm using detail connectors, which really clamp onto these pieces, it actually makes up for the fact that this ground tile, or this floor tile rather, is messed up. Oh, actually, I think I need a T-piece in there, don't I? Yeah, I need a T-piece. T-connector. There we go. There we go. Now I'll start building up the interior support structure out of some basics set stuff. We need that there. Cool. It's definitely getting there. Oh yeah, so here's one of those pieces I was talking about. This is an early beta version. This is one of the earliest Torino pieces that I made. And here's why I stopped putting the paper, or here's why I started taking the paper off of everything. You see that? That is the paper on the inside of the pieces that I didn't remove. And after years of connecting and disconnecting and use, it has started to peel. That's obviously not ideal. So that is why I don't recommend leaving the paper on for anything. Now, if you buy higher quality foam board, which I don't know why you would, unless you live in a place where you don't have access to the ready board, then you may find that this doesn't happen to you because higher quality foam board, the paper is put on with a better glue, which is a double-edged sword because it's really hard to get off. So I don't recommend that. But yeah, so this is why I don't also recommend leaving the paper on there. Also, what can happen is if you leave the paper on one side and not on the other, and you add a wet glue, a lot of water on it, it may warp your piece because now you have glue that's drying and contracting on the outside, and the paper side won't give in proportion to that because the paper doesn't contract. So yeah, so I would definitely not recommend leaving the paper on the inside. But for pieces that you won't see in here, they're perfectly fine. Even though they're not pretty. Okay, so then, guess that's my roof peak. That's one roof peak, that's another roof peak. Oh yeah, and so I got lazy at the end of this. I actually made the wrong types of roofs. Whoops. For these here, I don't know if anybody noticed it, but yeah, so they're the wrong type. They're too narrow, but yeah, you know, it's okay. I'm not going to lose too much sleep over it. So now, as always, if you have any questions on this, please leave them in the comments. I also have a frequently asked questions video in regards to everything Torino. It's the one that I released just prior to this one. And it also has a demo of play with how to use this this model. So feel free, or make sure you check that out. It's got a lot of good information in it. There's also timestamps in the description of it below the video, so you can actually jump to the question that you have and its answer. Oh yeah, so here is the one piece, my one concession, my one design limitation made manifest in a piece of Terraino. I actually had to cut this notch out of here to make it line up or make it able to fit onto the model. And I tried everything I could to find a way to not have to do this. But then I was like, well, you know what? If I really do have to modify just one piece to make this large, complex tavern, I think it's worth it to get this information out there. But yeah, so there may be times where you have to do this too. And yes, it bothers me. And when I have a solution to it, of course I will post it. But for right now, this was the best solution I had. Yeah, those kind of things bother me a lot. They're the kind of things that keep me up at night. At least in regards to Terraino. Okay, put that on here. And with this, we're getting towards the end of this build. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it wasn't too boring. And I hope it shows and illustrates just sort of the practical, you know, the everyday practicality or impracticality, depending on how you look at it, of building Terraino and the fun you can have with it, you know. There is just something kind of cool about just building this thing out of these little parts that you built for a few pennies a piece. And now all of a sudden it's this area that you're going to bring to life in your game. And it's just it's a fun thing. I really enjoy that aspect of it. Now normally for me, a lot of it is creating and building these things, so rebuilding this is not as exciting to me, but there is still some fun in it, and I wanted to show you guys kind of that whole process. So with this, we have ourselves a finished tavern. And I want to make sure I put the notched piece here. Yes. Oh. And of course you have to be careful when you move this because it is a big piece. And there you go. One finished tavern. So again, thanks for watching. I know this is a little bit of a longer video, but hopefully it has some value to you. As always, if you want to support my efforts in Terraino, go to GameGearMaster.com, check out the manuals there, purchase one if you'd like, download the free manual. The Terraino Basics Construction Manual is always free at GameGearMaster.com. It has a ton of information for you to be able to make a really nice Basics Terraino set. If you'd like to directly support me, Patreon.com/GameGearMaster is the place to go. There's Patreon exclusives there for you, behind the scenes stuff. You get early access to all my videos. So check that out as well. And thanks as always for watching, and happy crafting.
Please like and subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified of new videos. If you'd like to support future videos and get the inside track on Torino development, consider becoming a GameGearMaster member at patreon.com/GameGearMaster. And don't forget to download your free Torino Basics construction manual at GameGearMaster.com.